Yo, what's good? Big Z here. Congrats to the mix and master winner from last week. We'll do it again this week. All you have to do is comment below and I'll pick a winner in a few days to get a free mix and master from myself. Anyway, today I'm going to show you guys how to make this. So that is my remake of Goodbye by Imanbek and Goodboys. Obviously it sounds a little empty without the vocals because the vocals are a very main part of the track, but I think the bass line is really cool and you'll learn about layering basses in this video. So we have this bouncy slap house bass line here and it has 3 different layers. And you'll notice a lot of the same things from last week's video because this bass line has a lot of swing right here. You can see that it's really off grid on the 16th notes. And it also has a ton of sidechain. The sidechain is cranked up to 100% to give it that groove. The mid bass layer kind of takes up the low mid frequencies here. If I just solo that for you. There's still high end coming through, but most of the high end is from this top bass. But this mid bass here really makes up the bulk of the sound, and it's actually a preset just straight out of my new Serum preset pack that you can check out below if you're interested. But it's got these cool wavetables, the scream wavetable and this distortion doot wavetable. And the second oscillator is really just adding some width to it. You can see it has 4 voices and it's a little bit detuned. Without it, it would just be mono in the middle of the mix. So I have that at about 50% in oscillator B. And the envelope is pretty plucky, that's what it looks like. And that's controlling the filter cutoff in the effects section. I also have the noise oscillator being used just to add some extra attack. And then to add even more attack, I'm using envelope 3 to modulate the pitch. So externally, I'm cutting off everything below 100 Hz to make room for the sub bass, and I'm also reducing some of the high end to make room for that top bass, just so this mid bass isn't clashing with the other layers. So here's the sub bass that I have underneath that. And this is actually just another preset from my Serum preset pack called Slap Sub 1. I don't think I did anything to change it. So with that, I can individually mix in the sub bass. Then this top bass is adding a lot more character to the layers. Here's what it sounds like by itself. I have everything below like 360 Hz cut off just to make room for that mid bass. And this is actually a Nexus sound called FM Bass 1, and it's in the Deep House expansion pack. It's kind of hard to describe the sound of it, but it has a really cool attack and pluck sound on the high end there. So that's why I'm just using the high end from this bass. So all 3 of these layers are going into the bass bus where I'm doing the 100% sidechain to make it really groove with the kick. And then I'm also compressing them all together before that with this punchy bass guitar preset from FabFilter Pro C2. So nothing too crazy, I'm just doing like 2 decibels of compression at the loudest points. So to make the bass line more interesting, there are these little bass fills here. So here's one of them. And you just heard the other one, that reverse saw bass right here. And I just made that using a saw wave in Serum. It's a really simple sound. I have the envelope right here with the attack at like 600 milliseconds. and that's modulating the cutoff of the filter. So it's just slowly opening up the filter. But this other fill down here, it's just that same exact Nexus preset I already showed you, the FM Bass 1. It just has a ton of reverb on it. I'm just making sure to cut out the transients from the reverb. If I take this transient master off, it sounds really harsh. So I'm putting this transient designer before the reverb, so it sounds nice and smooth. I'm also sidechaining the reverb to that signal. So in the second half of the drop, we start ramping up the energy some more. And that's done by just adding in some more drums here, like this hat loop and open hat. And it's also done by adding some new synths and strings in there. This is another sound I use just straight from my new Serum preset pack. It's just good for adding some energy to drops and breaks. And then we have this string sound on top of it. And that's just a string sound I use from Nexus in the ROM extension pack. It's called Concerto, and that just adds a lot of tension to that second part of the drop. There's also that double kick and crash hit that you hear right at the beginning, that you hear in a lot of Medusa tracks, and I know Goodboys have worked with Medusa on a few songs before. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. And other than that, I'll catch you next time. Peace.